Hey, hello, it's Paul Green here from the business community. We're doing one of our regular spotlight on interviews, and I'm pleased to say that this morning we've got Janet Braunston from Braunston Print. Welcome, Janet.
Good morning, Paul. Nice to be here.
So we're going to put her literally in the spotlight and ask her a few questions just to learn a little bit about her business. So to start off with, Janet, why don't you just introduce yourself and let us know about you and your business?
Right, I'm obviously Janet from Braunston Print. We're a family-run printers. We print anything from business cards right up to exhibition displays. Not done a lot of that this year, funnily enough. Clothing, and we have a laser cutter, so we do all sorts of weird and wonderful products. We're all family in here. There's 4 of us, and yeah, it is a real family business.
Excellent. Well, how did it all start, Janet? How did Braunston come about?
Well, I do feel that I sort of fell into it in a funny sort of way. I was a bursar in a primary school, and Chris, my son, had gone off to Buckingham University and did a course in product design. But then when he came back out and he came home, he couldn't get a job that he wanted in the product design way. So he went back to Office World, where he'd been working on evenings and holidays, etc., etc. So he worked there for about 2 years in the reprographics section. He ended up being manager of their reprographics. Then suddenly Staples brought Office World out, and they offered Chris voluntary redundancy, and also gave him a load of printing stock and machines if he wanted them. So we sat and had a discussion and decided to open a copy shop along the Wellingborough Road in 2004. That was. I did part-time there, working as a bursar and working the business. And then in 2006, I took a great leap of faith and packed up bursary altogether and went into work full-time. So that's how we sort of got started, as a copy shop. It's certainly moved forward quite quickly after that. 2009, we moved to Talbot Road, and Kath joined us, my daughter, right in the middle of a recession. So that was pretty good timing. And then we moved to bigger premises again to Woodford House last year. And now we've got a pandemic. So we're not moving again. We're not moving again, we promise.
All down to you. So how did you decide to move?
Sorry?
How did you decide to move?
It was space. When we were in Wellingborough Road, we went from a couple of little machines to a big production machine, which was in the middle of the shop. And we used to have to walk around one way. We had a one-way system because there was 4 of us working in there, couldn't get around the machine, and it got really silly. We took over the whole of the building. So we then went to Talbot Road, which was considerably bigger, and we outgrew there as well eventually after 10 years. So it's been all good, really. It's hard work, but we've got there.
And are you quite unique nowadays in as much as you have your own kit in-house? Because there's a lot of print brokers out there, but I guess there's fewer printers with the actual kit under the roof. So would you agree with that?
Yeah, very much so. And they're going, I know locally, we're at Daventry and Warwick area, we know we've lost 3 other printers that had got their own machines, which is really sad, because every time something happens, I mean, it's good for us in a way, but it's not nice to see other people going down like that. It's sad. But yeah, we have got all our own machines. So we're lucky in that respect.
And I guess that helps you distinguish yourself from your competitors, because pretty much the vast majority of what you do, you can do under one roof now.
Yeah, and we've got total control then over what we're doing. So I mean, we do use external. We do use for litho. We're digital, and it gets to a certain amount of prints when sending it out to litho is a lot cheaper for the customer. So we'll do that. but you can always, whenever there's been a problem, it's always been putting it out to a third party, because you can control it in-house.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
timing as well. I mean, we can put stuff through very quickly if we need to. So yeah, it's good.
So you said it's pretty much a family-run business. So how do you define the different roles then? Who does what within your business?
We are very defined in everything that we do, and I think that's why it works. We have lots of meetings coming together, but we have Kath, who is primarily designer, although Chris isn't in today, so she's on production as well. Chris is production, and I can't describe him any other way than a geek. So he produces all these wonderful things. Sometimes we have to control that a bit, but he's good at that, and he does all production. Jen, my daughter-in-law, Chris's wife, she does a lot of the admin and customer care side of things. Also finishing, she does all the finishing for us. And I do the finance, admin, and sales and marketing. So basically, I'm in the office, out of the way. They like to keep me out of the way. So,
And you've got
oh yeah, very Millie. She's a terrible guard dog. Yes, you can't leave. She loves people to bits. We also have a lot, well, a few casual workers as well. My sister-in-law, she comes in to help on finishing and things and packaging if we're getting tight on time. And yeah, so it's a nice family business. It really is.
And you mentioned Chris as the geek, but I guess that's an advantage in as much as if people come to you and want something a little bit different than just a flat piece of paper
Yeah.
or printed, that you quite like getting into those sorts of projects, don't
Oh,
you?
he does. He loves it. Spends hours and hours playing. But yes, anything you want doing, he'll find a way around it. He will find a way to do it. So he's a good asset. He really is.
So he did a project a while back, didn't he, where you crowdfunded to raise. Could you say a little bit about that? I know it was his project, but that was quite interesting, I think.
It was. He decided, because we've got the laser cutter, and he is very interested in gaming, a tabletop gaming.
Mhm.
He devised a way of making gaming scenes with MDF, but printed and then cut out on the laser and selling them in packs going out. He still runs that. It's called the XLC, the Extraordinary Laser Company.
Right, okay.
And he still does that, and he did a crowdfunding. It was must have been 4 or 5 years ago, and he did very well. He was in about the £6,000 region that he actually got in on orders for this stuff. We had to meet them before Christmas, which was a bit of a panic, but yes, it really did work very well. It really did, for sort of on off the shelf type stuff.
Mm.
It was good. So,
Russell's tuned in. He's just put that comment.
yeah, definitely licked him to death.
Okay, so I often ask people, when I say often, this is probably about the 4th or 5th one I've done, so it's fairly new. So I'm always quite interested in what the why is. Simon Sinek talks about, starting with why. So what's your why? What gets you out of bed in the morning and drives you to do what you do?
I love it. I love it. I love working with the kids as well. I mean, it can be stressful, family as well, but it's just, and it's nice to have the family around you. We all work 110%, we really do. And we don't, she says, touching wood, we don't have many arguments. We might have a few disagreements, but not actual blown out arguments. So, and I think that's really what it is. It's I don't know, it's keeping the family together as well. I mean, even the grandchildren come in and help. So I'm hoping that when I go, eventually,
Yeah.
possibly, it will carry on, and it's quite a nice legacy.
No, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Coming into the your venue. So yes, it'd be nice if they do carry on, I would say.
Yeah.
So we've touched on it a little bit. Is there anything else that you would say makes you different from your competitors?
I think it's that, I mean, there's a lot of online printers now. There is. But we're flexible. We're very caring as well. We won't print anything that we don't think looks good. And we'll always go back to the customer and confirm that's what they want. We'll give them samples to see, because sometimes on screen it looks totally different. And I think we're resilient and personable, to be quite honest. And, you know, we like a laugh, and we like to be friendly, and we love what we do. We love helping people get what they want. So I think that's what it is.
Okay. And I guess, would it be fair to say that a lot of your business has come through networking? Has that been the prime source?
Definitely. I think your group, Paul, was one of the first we ever joined.
Okay.
Right at the beginning, we didn't do networking. We just were very silly, because we opened the doors and expected people to walk in.
Yeah, sure.
So very naive, really. But no, networking's been really good for us. Not only have we picked up sort of referral partners and colleagues and customers, we've also had a huge amount of support. And I mean, all my external, like the accounts, my legal, my HR, they're all through, especially BizCom, I'll be quite honest. And we work along with the people all the time from the networking community. And you get lots of help and education as well, because it's a changing world, and just going out there and listening to other people's experiences really does help you to put everything in perspective. So yeah.
I didn't realise one of the first that you joined.
Yes, yeah. And we're still with you.
No, I'm going to get rid of this since, have I?
I'm sorry, you can't get rid of us.
So I guess for most businesses at the time of recording, you know, we're in the pandemic, as you touched on earlier. Outside of that, which I guess has been a challenge for most business, what would you say is the biggest challenge that you've faced in your business life today?
We have had a few. I mean, the first recession hit us really hard. That we also had, unfortunately, we had a session of multiple family deaths. And because we are family run, that had a huge knock on with the business. So that was quite hard. And we had a flood as well in 2006.
You remember that?
But that was a silver lining, because 7 of the machines had to be replaced with the insurance. So make sure you keep your insurance going, because we learned that. So some of them were the really large machines. So that, in a funny sort of way, was quite good, because they were all renewed. But I suppose the most challenging is at the moment, because at the moment I'm project managing a house build, and keeping the business going, and we're in a pandemic, so you know, probably that comes quite high up on the list.
So you're quite resilient, I guess, having faced one session and gone through this and done the various moves.
Resilient or stupid, I can't quite work out what.
Probably a fine line.
Bit of each.
So how, as a business then, you know, since the pandemic, how have you adapted? Have you done anything specifically differently? So how has that changed for you?
We have changed enormously, and I think that's why we've seen all these problems throughout our career. Is just to keep up with everything. We've helped the NHS with face masks. We didn't get any money for that, but we're hoping karma will come back from that. But because we've been doing see-through roller banners for the music school and other schools as well, for protection. I mean, if you'd asked me last year. I said, don't be silly. There's never anybody would want a see-through banner, but you adapt. Chris went and found material for them and worked out whether it would work out and how to put it together. So this is the resilience you need, and the changing on marketing. We're on that phone like nobody's business at the moment. And everyone seems at the moment, you're phoning, even cold calling, people are quite open to conversation. And I think it's just they're either working from home and bored and lonely, or they've got time on their hands. So it's quite a good time to push that side of things.
And you said there's been a bit of a resurgence in Christmas cards this year. Why do you think that is?
Do you know, I'm sure it's because social media is good. You've got to have a presence on social media, but it's getting something through the post. I don't know. It's a touch of tradition as well. And I think everyone's needing that touch, whatever it might be. So we have had a huge influx of Christmas card orders this year. So yes, that's been very good as well. And that's adjusting again to that, making sure that we're set up to run it, got the stock in, because that's another challenge we have at the moment is supply of stock paper, because it used to come in from China. And it doesn't anymore. And so it's been a bit challenging, that has as well.
So lots of balls keep juggling in the air by the sound of it.
Yeah, it really is. But you just have to keep going, don't you? Just keep out there and keep going. Yeah,
definitely got to keep going. I think, you know, it is an odd time that, you know, not many of us have faced anything like this. And what I've been encouraged with is those businesses that have adapted, that have, you know, taken it on the chin to an extent and thought, you know, we've got to go on, you know, because I think that's the resilience that small businesses have. And I think also, you know, because small businesses are more adaptive, I think that it's small businesses that, you know, will help us recover and, you know, contribute to the economy going forward, because all this money has got to be, you know, paid back somehow. Were you lucky enough to sort of take advantage of any sort of business loans or grants or rate rebates that the government offered?
Yeah, we had the rate rebate. We were lucky. We were just under the rateable value for getting the 10,000, and then we took out the bounce back loan. We haven't used it, she says, touching wood. So hopefully at the end we can just pay it back. But it's there. It's our comfort blanket, so to speak. So yes, and we were lucky. And Daventry Council, I know Northampton, there was a huge problem with getting the rates back. Daventry, we got it within a few days. So they were really good. You know, I do shout out Daventry Council for that.
Yeah, I think some were better than others, weren't they? Depending on which
very much so.
Which I guess is frustrating when, you know, some businesses in Northamptonshire are getting it and others aren't because of the way that the councils run. But okay, no, I think businesses were wise to, you know, take advantage of that.
Very much so.
Just to support cash flow. And like you say, if you've got it in reserve and you haven't spent it, that's probably a good thing. You didn't need it, but it's probably best to have it than not.
Yeah. Well, it's a no-brainer really, because it's no interest. You can pay back as soon as it's due, or if you've used it, it's something 2.4% or something interest. It's very low, very low.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so you kindly said that you're going to share some of your knowledge with us.
Yes.
And do a little sort of video slot. So what I'm going to do, if I can work the technology, is just put you on the screen, get rid of me for a minute, and let's see if I can do that. Oops, that's the wrong one. If I remove me, bear with us, watchers. I don't know how I did this last time. Obviously cocked it up. What did I do last time? Anyway, well, I think what I do, if I take myself off the screen, it will put you there permanently. So I'll just hand over to you, Janet, and I'll see you in a few minutes' time.
Right, thank you. Hello, I'd like to say a few words about marketing, really. we are the end product of a marketing strategy, and to get any advice, you really do need to speak to marketing experts and designers, etc. Marketing budget is the easiest budget for companies to drop and the worst one to discard. We saw this in the 2008-9 recession. People dropping marketing, and the companies that survived were the ones that kept marketing throughout. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be drooling. It's just being out there. Obviously, the first one is to keep in touch with your existing and previous customers and clients. You can do this all sorts of ways. I mean, networking, keep in touch with colleagues and referral partners. That's really important, especially at the time we're in at the moment. Social media, you've got to have a presence on all of these, and we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, but it's so busy and time consuming. So you really need to talk to social media experts to get to understand what's the best way of keeping in touch with your customers on social media. Otherwise, it will take up all your time and effort, and you'll be getting no results at all. Another one is email shots. Things like MailChimp, they're excellent. You can put all sorts of them. Don't sell on it, but just send out. We like to send out funny things and just news about what we've been doing, etc., etc. Our key thing at the moment is telephoning. We telephone existing customers and we do cold calling. We buy data in and just go down the list of cold calling. I never thought I'd be saying this, that cold calling is working very well. At the moment, especially, people do seem to be open to conversation. So just get out there and phone. And phoning your existing customers just reminds you, especially at the moment, that you are still about, you are still working, and you're able to help them if they need it. And obviously, I'm going to say print. There's all sorts of different things you can do with print. There's variable data print, which is sending out letters or flyers, but putting on names and addresses and any personal information you know about your client. Or that person that you're sending out to. Lumpy mail is another way to do, sending out pens and things, little gifts. We sent out scale rulers to builders and also mini COVID signs to companies, and we got lots of work through just sending those out. Sending out vouchers to people. This year we are inundated with Christmas cards. It's a touch of tradition. It's something that people want to see, I think. But it doesn't have to be expensive. You just cost of a stamp, but keep in touch with your customers and just keep going with marketing. Whatever you want to do, and do it, but do keep in touch with the experts as well. They'll help you with your marketing. They'll give you ideas and tell you where to find those customers. So just keep marketing. Thank you.
There you go. Which we managed to get there in the end. So thank you for that. I think it's wise words. It's well, I agree with you entirely. I mean, I noticed when we first came into the pandemic that people ducked out of networking and businesses disappeared and things like that. And it was interesting to see how different sectors reacted. So the ones that come to mind are sort of photography and travel that, you know, were obviously impacted. And it was interesting to see how different people reacted. So some photographers disappeared from the radar, others, Charles Jones, who you'll know, network more, and I think he's paying the dividends of that now, because he's starting to pick up some work, and I think because he was there, I think that helps. You've got to, unless you're thinking of closing your business right now, then you've still got to put the message out there, letting people know that you are there, and if you're in a sector that's particularly hit by the current pandemic, things will eventually turn back round. It's a shame, as you said earlier, that some businesses don't make it. But for that are determined, and for those that have maybe adapted that will make it, you've still got to sort of stay out there marketing, letting people know that you will be open for business when when things change.
Because we get an awful lot of inquiries and people say, are you still open? And that people don't understand that some companies are open and some are not. So you need to be telling them that I'm here, come see me.
No, absolutely. And I think it's a great time for networking now because it's free to low cost. So there's quite a lot of choice out there. You've got no travel costs. Geography doesn't come into it, so you can go anywhere you like. You literally could go worldwide if you wanted to network worldwide. As long as you could find the event. And I think that's what people should be doing. Just get out there. If you've never networked before, definitely get out there and let people know. We will get back to physical network at some point, but I think virtual networking is here to stay. I think it'll be a little bit odd with those people that sort of disappeared for what effectively will be a year, all of a sudden pop back up, when we're back physical. I know some people don't like the video and, it's not the same, but there's some businesses that have started up since March. This is the norm for them. Being online and doing network, this is normal for them. They've never done a physical networking.
Never thought of it like that.
This is what's interesting. It'll be interesting for me to see whether those people that have started online, whether they actually come out and physically network. My plan is to offer both. My plan is to offer both the physical option and the virtual option, so people have still got that choice. But I think it'll be a little bit odd for those businesses that all of a sudden pop back up. I think people will think, well, where were you then? We've still been in this boat doing our thing. Where were you? So I think there'll be a little bit of a disconnect. I think with those businesses that weren't around, sort of putting the message out there and doing what they're doing. And if it will be a year, because I don't think we'll get back to physical network until at least the spring. Then to survive a year without putting the message out there, is one thing in itself. If businesses manage to do that, then great. But I would imagine it's been particularly difficult, generating leads for businesses, for your business without, doing some marketing activity. Networking is probably the best you can do.
Yeah, I agree totally. You need to be out there. And like I said, just showing people you are still about and being in their mind when they need something. It's just, and also you got the support as well. You mustn't undermine that as well. The support of other people who are in the same situation as you are. We're all in the same situation, but you get to hear them, and it's fun. It's a bit of social as well. So it's all good. Really good.
So if you were to give sort of one top tip for any business owner, what would the one top tip be from you?
Be resilient and just keep marketing. Just keep out there and let people know you're still there. Do anything is better than nothing.
Absolutely. Okay, Janet, your ordeal is over now.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for giving up what is valuable time to any small business owner. So, hopefully you found this a bit useful, and anybody that sort of watched it or listened on the replay, whatever, then, do feel free to put any comments in whatever platform you're listening or watching on, and, we'll endeavour to sort of get back to you and connect with you. So thank you very much for your time.
Right. Thank you, Paul. It's lovely. Thank you.